I think a lot of the credit goes to my assistant coaches for what the first thing they said to me when we walked into halftime. As we were walking back to the locker room, almost all of them said to me, they said, we're fine. We're getting all the shots we want. We're getting good looks offensively. We're just not knocking them down. And that's a good thing to think about as you go in. You know, we had a lead, and then we lost it. It was a 2-point game at half, and it wasn't panic time because we were doing some really good things offensively. And then we had to clean up the ball screen coverage. The last 10 minutes of the second half, we didn't guard the high ball screen very well. And so we challenged the guys. We have a couple different ways we can guard it, and we put some ownership on them and said, how do you guys want to guard this high ball screen? And they decided, and then they put the ownership on them. And I think the way they go, you know, how they didn't change it. They did the same one. They just did it better. And I liked that they took some ownership on that high ball screen. And I liked the fact that we didn't panic because we were getting good shots, and then obviously in the second half we hit them. And but if you told me, you know, Avercamp was 1 for 8 at half, Cully was 1 for 6, Kiki was 0 for 4. I mean, right out of the gate we were like, that's 2 for 18 between 3 guys that played a lot of minutes in the first half, and we were up 2. You know, I think we weathered a bad shooting storm in the first half. Yeah. We had spikes in our defense. I thought we started the game really well defensively. I think it was 12-2, and we had a great. And then we had a let up about 7 or 8 minutes left to go in the half. They just started turning the corner on all the ball screens, and then we came back, and I felt that in the second half, you know, that first group defensively got us going. And we guarded the ball screen better. We were much more aggressive. And then Kiki and those guys, some of the freshmen came in, and the pressure. Kiki White has to play like that. He was passive defensively. It's one of the reasons why I recruited him was his toughness on defense. And he hasn't got that. You saw that personality in the second half. He was a little pit bull in the second half, and he's got to be that tough-minded defensively and not passive. And he changed. I thought Kiki changed the game as well defensively with his energy. Yeah. Yeah, Tony. I am. You achieve what you emphasize, and obviously we've been emphasizing this since before the Italy trip, and I still feel like our spectrum of improvement is very long. I think it's very big, and I think that we can, get a lot better in certain areas. Like a lot of young teams, we have our spikes with concentration on assignments, and the guys know it. We show them film. We're constantly doing it, but we've got to continue to be more consistent. I thought the second half we were really just coming out of the second half. We were really on the ball screen, and and it's a good lesson for the guys. Is we had a 7-minute lull that we did not guard the ball screen well, and we let a team back in, and that's something they'll hear and see and learn from in a film session this week. That you can't have spikes like that on your defense, but it's got to be our personality. We're not going to be bigger than a lot of teams. We're definitely not going to be bigger than our opponent next week, and the next 2 weeks. And so we got to do a lot of the little things defensively better. Yeah. It is. It's one of the reasons why we obviously we wanted to upgrade in a lot of areas in recruiting, and our shooting the ball was miserable last year, and that's one thing that right out of the gate he's got a quick, confident trigger. He's learning when and where, time and score, but to our guys, he goes on runs like this in practice all the time, and he's been pretty consistent from 3 this year. I mean, I think going into the game he was shooting 45%, so it wasn't like he got himself out of a shooting slump. He is a phenomenal shooter. We're trying to get him to be more aggressive off the dribble. I think he got one off the dribble tonight, and he's got a nice little pull-up. And we constantly tell him, you just don't want to be a shooter. You want to be a player. And but obviously, you know, he opens a lot of things up, and I know Ben loves it because I think when teams scout, they're going to have to play with that. You know, they can't just everybody sit on Ben when you got some other guys shooting the ball. No question. Cully, 9 assists. No, he does. And Joe, and I think we got some guys that can knock down a three. Joe, Jordan, O'Leary, Turk, can and even Cully and Ben. We got some guys that can knock down the three.
Any other questions?
Coach, please talk a little about how you're going to prepare for Michigan State next week.
We have all week. We'll start watching tape tomorrow, but obviously the first thing that comes to mind is the way Michigan State's program is. You're going to have to box out. The way they offense the rebound. So we're going to have to get ready for a physical game, checking off. They're going to have an advantage inside, size-wise in every position, but Coach Izzo's done such a phenomenal job. When you think Michigan State, you think them just pounding the glass, rebounding, just everything, and then physical defense. So we're going to have to be, our young guys are going to be strong with the ball, and then we're going to have to limit their rebounding advantages. Ask me after the game. No, I think it's going to be. I do. I think it's going to be help the guys. So then when they're playing, then they realize at the level, that they can play against this team, and that they can play this level and compete. And this is where they want to, whether it's in the weight room or in the offseason, this is what you want to do. You want to compete to beat a team like a Michigan State, and I think the only way you do that is to see it firsthand playing against it.
Anything else? Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys.
For both of you, Coach, see anything in particular that impacted you guys?
It was considering the circumstances, it was a pretty low-key halftime. We understood that we were getting good looks in the first half. I think Cully and I combined were pitiful from the field in the first half. And I think that, the coach actually mentioned the assistant coaches, telling them we're getting decent looks, we're doing, things pretty well. We were getting beat on a couple ball screens. So that was something that we wanted to clean up then coming into the second half. And I think you saw it with that, I think it was like a 20-0 run that we went on. That was a combination of us now making those good looks that we got, and then we were able to get out and force them into tough shots.
That's always gets, it seems to be that get you guys going. Was that also the elements that you did?
Definitely. I think we went into halftime, and I know me and Ben, if we look at this, we were like 1 for 80, couldn't make a shot, but I think as a team, we defended, and that's what kept us in the game when we couldn't make a shot. And I think we got a lot of our offense, especially running today, off steals, off tips, off rebounds, which was easy buckets that got us going. It's huge, yeah.
23. That's good.
So you have that big lead, second half. And then, just like we were talking about how sometimes there's a bit of the game or pressure points. When you get a big lead, when you feel like Turk, it's the pressure, starts hitting threes. Getting close leads kind of helps, doesn't it?
It's nice to get to watch from the end of the bench at a game sometimes. So obviously when you're ahead, but it's also good because guys, you look at a guy like London. You have to play 8 minutes tonight. London does so much in practice. He works so hard, and for him to finally get some game time run is important. Guys, it's got to be tough being in that situation. So it's always good to see someone like him get some minutes. I know Bill got a couple too. Because a lot of guys are deserving of minutes, and it's tough. It's just a numbers game. But so a game like this is always good, just to allow those guys an opportunity to play.
It looks like you're really getting to really know where your guys are, and really getting into the flow of the games and stuff. Taking it for one way out. Are you feeling that?
Yeah, I feel, me and Coach were joking about it the other day. I feel like a brand new basketball player. I mean, and I mean, we could say I had 9 assists, but that doesn't matter. I mean, at the end of the day, I can throw it into someone like this. I mean, it's Turk the way he shoots it, the way Joe shoots it, and especially Hicks and CT. I mean, I feel like I'm able to get going now because of my teammates. So I give all the credit to those guys.
Do you guys feel like, I know it was like 5 minutes, 6 minutes now, this early in the season, this is kind of first. It hasn't happened in a long time. Do you build on it like that? Is that what you, yeah, I know you take the game by game, but.
Yeah, I mean, the momentum's always a great thing to have on your side. I think that, I mean, you have to take away certain things from this game. You know, obviously the way we let them into the first half will be something, you know, back into the game in the first half. We kind of got that really good start, and obviously, you know, the scorer's table mishap, and that kind of slowed down the game, but and kind of got us out of it. But we gotta there are certain areas, you know, that you can look to build off of. But obviously, anytime you get you have a solid win, there are a lot of positives in it that we're gonna have to take out from it, and especially, you know, this next week that we got to prepare for Michigan State.
Yeah. You remember last time you played them?
Me? Yeah. They're good.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I mean, something that I've kind of always grown up on, they put their shorts on the same way we do. So, I mean, we're going to come in there, we'll be prepared. Obviously, we got great coaches, and we'll definitely come in there and play hard and defend.
Did you play, it was just 1 year against them?
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah, it was 2 years, yeah.
Yeah.
Tonight you had one or today, one of the biggest crowds that I've seen on here at home. How much do you draw from crowds on
It's huge. I think that's one of our biggest motivations to win, is to really get the kids here, get the crowd here. And I think slowly, the more we win, the bigger the crowd's going to get. And at the end of the day, one of our goals is not to lose at home, and I think our crowd plays a huge role in that. Hey, and by the way, I did